Hello and welcome to a beautiful Monday morning here in Vienna, Austria. Still a bit chilly, but spring is around the corner. I have the window open, so I'm freezing a bit, but it feels like spring. Time for me to talk about Randallfoils. What are they? What is their effect? And I would like to answer all the questions I remember having been asked in recent days.
And everyone was saying, but you're crazy, you are using that, you have never raced. But after 300 meters, the race was finished.
First up, the Randallfoil is a bit of high density plastic you put on top of your blade. What it does, it basically limits the blade from going too deep into the water. And as there is no up and down travel at the catch, there's immediate horizontal force connection. So
it gets a lot more grip at the catch and throughout the drive, and also just a kind of a training effect of, because it stops you from burying the blade so deep.
It's like sitting on a skateboard, putting your hand on a concrete and just accelerating yourself. And this is the effect we usually seek in the boat, but we don't find it. With the Randallfoil, as there is no vertical travel at the catch, you have immediate force connection, almost no slip, and therefore you are much faster, because you have more resistance from the start. The result is that you can make the entire setup softer than it is right now, because most of the gearing we use and all the equipment we use is too stiff anyway in order to compensate the design flaw blades usually have. And the design flaw I'm talking about is there is no limiter. In kayak, these blades have been around forever, but rowing and innovation don't go well together. Seems like, at least. This is my experience with Biro. It took us 15 years before this thing took off. If you have the Randallfoil on top, as there is no up and down travel, no vertical travel at the catch, there is immediate force connection and you can be softer at the catch. This is the technique change I recommend you do, because then you don't have to cramp and work so hard at the catch anymore. You can stay nice and relaxed and still have a very soft and effective catch. And this is ultimately what we're all looking for. The question I got is, well, isn't it too harsh on the back? Hey, come on, if you're using carbon backwing riggers and ultra stiff oars, and even if they're called super skinny, ultra soft, bendy, blah blah blah, it's still stiffer than anything we had 20 years ago. Don't worry about less slip. The reason why we have this stiff equipment is because the slip was too much. Now that the slip is gone, you can make the rest softer and enjoy a nice solid load. Matt Brigham and Matt Paul said in their interview, which I'm going to link right there,
that you don't need to like them as much as I think everyone thought in the first place. So the gearing has slowly worked its way out to being only like half a centimetre difference. The big thing that we noticed was the slip figures seemed to come in a little bit. So the grip around the front turn seems to be more instantaneous. They
went back to regular settings after a while when using the Randallfoils. So they put on the Randallfoils, softened the gearing, and then they went back to regular gearing again after Matt Brigham got used to that. Recommended gearing changes. What should you do? First up, shorten the outboard. Make your outboard softer by 1 or 2 centimeters. Make it shorter. Raise the gates by 1 to 3 washers. If you're one of those athletes who kills fish every time you catch, you probably have your gates too low. So raise them a bit. So when you are at just below shoulder height of pulling, Randallfoil with the blade should just touch the water surface. One very important thing you should change is the pitch on the blade. Go to 0 degrees. Initially, we all said 0 to 3 degrees. Yes, 3 degrees work. By the way, 4 degrees don't. If you don't change the pitch on your blades and put on Randallfoils, don't expect these to work. Why? Because the Randallfoil now creates the pitch and not the blade. The reason why we had to tweak with pitch so much is because we had to compensate that design flaw where there was a lack of limit, how deep you could go. So, my suggestion, go to 0 degrees pitch on the blade. It's super comfortable. There are differences from oars to oars. So a Concept 2 oar feels much more aggressive with Randallfoils than a Crocker oar does or a Bradshaw oar does. Probably the best oar to go right now with Randallfoils is a Bradshaw oar, because you can get them factory mounted. So if you buy a pair of Bradshaw oars today, they install Randallfoils at the factory and deliver them to you. And they do a very good job. They're using fine screws, they're nicely attached, it's all super clean work, They're using adhesive end screws, so this is a really bomb-proof, solid work they do. So that's one of the big news. We have the first oar manufacturer selling Randallfoil pre-installed oars, which is Bracha. And Bracha is now one of the leading oar manufacturers in the world. And they're big in kayak as well, so they know what it's like to build very good shapes. The question I get asked a lot is, hey, how do Randallfoils perform in headwind or in rough conditions? Very well. We have just had the successful Atlantic Ocean crossing with Randallfoils. Surprising? No. They said the rowing was so much more effective because they didn't have to look for stability every time at the catch. And this is why Randallfoils are also used for coastal rowing and surfboard rowing. Wherever you have to do a lot of strokes, you don't want to waste 1 millimeter looking for resistance. Not effective. So this is why they are putting on Randallfoils on their blades. Are Randallfoils used by top teams? Yes. It's Olympic season, a lot of teams want to stay under the radar with what they're trying out, but as we produce them now in Austria, I know who uses them, and as far as I can tell you, yes, there are quite a few Olympic boats who are using these, even though they made medals at the World Championships 2019. Next topic, internet rumors. Very interesting. Same with Biorower when I started in 2000. Also with the Randallfoils, I see quite a few, actually I don't look at this anymore, people who comment say this is not working, blah blah blah. Interestingly, these are usually the same people who have never tried Randallfoils. Or if they have tried them, they haven't changed the pitch. Or if they have tried them, they didn't follow our attachment instructions, so they lost one. There was recently a video, I don't even know who did it, talking about, I've lost a Randallfoil and therefore it doesn't work, blah blah blah. I don't know if I would make a video about my lack of capability to attach a plastic piece to a blade. I wouldn't be so loud about it, and I would just check the instruction more thoroughly. And if you lose a Randallfoil, and this is what we did in the past, we replaced that for free. Although it wasn't our fault, we still replaced it for free.
For sure, as every innovation, you have also the right mindset to use it, and you have to go out and think, okay, it's gonna work. It's gonna make me better. You cannot go out and think, no, this is bullshit, this is something that is not working, because you are already losing at the start. As if you have a training program and you don't trust in the training program, you will never have a good result with that. So you have to be open mindset and think, okay, I want to have the best out of this foil and see how fast I can go. Then you try until you don't arrive at the point that you understand that you are faster.
So the ultimate question is, how much faster will Randallfoils make you? Well, Martino Goretti said when he started to use these and it did 1000 meter full out pieces, he was about 10 seconds faster than usual. Goretti became world champion in the lightweight single 2019. If he becomes 10 seconds faster, this should ring a bell. However, he also said you don't get the speed for free. This means you have to work harder, but you get more.
I mean, I was pushing a little bit more, the blade was more connected to the water, and of course the boat was heavier. There is no doubt. But I was always thinking, okay, but what happens if I want to go faster on the ergo? I have to push more, so I get more tired.
So it's like changing the gear. If you were to enter a race with a bike, how many gears would you like to have? 3 or 7? Probably 7. And if you had to race over a 2000 meter course, would you like to be stuck in 3rd gear all 2000 meters long? Or would you prefer to be in 7th gear when you are top speed? And this is exactly how Randallfoils work.
You've been using them quite a bit. Have you found the same stuff that we have, where when the rates are really high, it's hard to get the same benefit as you do at the low rates? And if so, have you found a workaround for this?
I think the reason why we get such high stroke rates is that we become inefficient, and therefore we push the rates up, which is not necessary. In my humble opinion, the higher the rates go, the less efficient the boat can travel, because there's more disturbing factors. Now, the reason why rates go up initially is because there's too much slip on the blade, because blades are not designed to give you optimum grip in the water. Now, when you solve this problem, that there's immediate grip, there's less slip, you have more efficiency per drive, and therefore lower stroke rates will generate higher boat speeds. So this is what we found, and Martino supported this idea when he said he races a couple strokes lower now with the same or faster speed. I do think that the Randallfoils require a bit of gearing, changing gearing, if you want to race at the same stroke rates. Because over the last 20 years or so, all of the equipment we use has become so stiff that it's almost too stiff. Now, if there's additionally no slip on the blade, we need to become pretty short on the outboard. Especially if you use carbon backwing riggers. What do you do? So if you're more the aerobic athlete with aerobic capacity, not the raw strength athlete, you probably do have to shorten or soften the gearing a bit. You will still have no slip, so you will keep the efficiency, but you will get the stroke rates up.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. But I found it pretty effective to change back and forth in terms of gearing, making the gearing harder, work on raw strength, switching back, making the gearing softer, work on stroke rates, and eventually merge these two. But this is a process of a couple of months. So where can you get Randallfoils? Globally. We ship globally. However, there are a few very good dealerships around the globe. In the US, we have a couple dealerships. I'm going to link them all in the description below. There are dealerships now in Asia, in Europe, and we're shipping straight from Austria to South America and to Africa. Guys, I'm sure there are a lot more questions. I'm definite I haven't answered all of them, but please put any further ideas, comments, questions in the comment section below. Let's start this discussion. All right, I wish you a very, very successful racing season 2020, and I'm looking forward to see you soon.